Happy Wednesday. How are you? Is it Wednesday? I think it is. Come on in. It doesn't really matter. We're going to get stuff done today. Live on the YouTube channel, live on the Apple Podcast channel, live on Spotify, live on iHeart, live all over the place. You ought to subscribe and maybe leave a really nice review if you'd like to. That'd be kind of cool. Today we're going to talk about focus and where you should put your focus if you want to get stuff in life. And we all want stuff, right? But how do you get it? How do you do it? How does it happen? Where do you focus? And I will tell you, you're going to you're going to relate to what I say today because you may be doing it right now. We're going to stop it today if that's okay. It is the Daily Boost from motivationtomove.com, the positive boost you need every single day. The nearly famous semi-professional motivational disc jockey dude. It's me, Scott Smith, doing my thing here today in the studio. One purpose of mine, to give you a little boost juice to get you through the week, to, if anything, get you through the meeting with a boss or a bad day, a hurricane strikes or something happens, just to be there for you while you get stuff done. And we don't do a show on the weekend usually, and the reason is I want you to take time off. I don't want you to work on the weekend, although I know a lot of y'all are doing these century bicycle rides, binging me. Whatever way you want to do it, that's cool. Good to have you here today. Did I say who it was? I forgot. I do that sometimes. My name is Scott Smith. Nice to have you here today. Thanks for stopping in. One thing about goal setting is kind of interesting. We're talking a lot about action this week and getting things done, and we'll get to the focus thing here in just a minute. But here I'm sitting in the studio. A few months ago I started YouTube, and then I didn't like it because it distracted me. I just couldn't do it the way it was being done. And I thought I'd figured it all out. Have you ever done that before? You figured something out. Perfect. I know how to do this. And then it wasn't what you thought it was going to be. That's a lesson you learn in life that, once you figure that out, that's called wisdom. If you know it's not what, just don't do it. So I got trouble. I got stuck. So I stopped. And I had a lot of people tell me, man, I have mad respect for you stopping what you didn't like doing. I said, yeah, but I really wanted to deliver the product. I wanted to do it. So I went to figure it out. It took months to figure out how to do it. And this week, I kind of cracked the code this week. And it was Friday. I was recording on Friday. And I said, let's do it. Why not? Pack the parachute as I jump out of the airplane. Why not? Let's do this thing. So it's not perfect over here. If you haven't been to YouTube to see my scraggly 9-week growth, it's not bad looking. People kind of like it. dailyboostpodcast.com/YouTube. Okay. Man, it took a little bit to get in. I'm sorry about that. Sometimes I get wrapping a little bit before. But that was a good lesson right there, right? About packing the parachute before. That was good. Don't negate that. That was content before the content. You people that want to soak up the content within 3 seconds, come on, take a break, relax. Sponsor? Maybe. So where should you put your focus? I was speaking to I speak to a lot of young people, and I love doing that. We have a very broad audience, and it's just crazy. Probably the youngest calls I get are 22, 23 years old. Any younger than that, and they're just kind of not, I don't know how to deal with it. I just don't do it. I don't do teenagers. I don't do young adults. It's not my thing. And, but I get people from 23, maybe to 63 in that area that talk to me. So I just get a lot of different, experience with different folks. Speaking of a young man, and he was living in two realities I absolutely recognized. One, he had finished school, and one reality was he was pursuing his dream career. Now, while he worked toward his dreams, he was doing something else. He earned a job certification to pay the bills. That's what he did. Have you done that before? If I do this, I'll get that. So during the conversation, that's kind of what happened. He said, and it got my attention because it gets my attention all the time. And I learned this lesson a very, very long time ago. I'll share a story with where I really, really learned it. He said, I'm hoping I can get a good job with my job supporting my dream. That's what I'm hoping that can happen. But I'm hoping that if I do this, I'll get the break. Somebody will come around, get some experience. I never looked at it like that because I realized when I took a job, kind of old school, I guess. I used to think, well, when you get a job, you're stuck for a year or it'll look bad on your resume. I'm not sure that matters these days anymore. Does it matter anymore? I'm not sure anymore. But that's how I used to think about it. So I just knew if I was going down that road, I was going down a year or two road, and maybe it would work, maybe it wouldn't. And everybody thought it was a good idea that I take that job. If they want to hire you, they're going to make it sound good. But is it good for you? I've spent a lot of years coaching. And it's allowed me to really hear a defocused dream, if you will, a dream erasing thought loud and clear. And that's what that was. When I hear somebody say, I need to do this to pay my bills, you don't get what you focus on. Because the truth is, if you're doing that, you're focused on that. Now, this is a Scott Logic common sense. I get it. I was a young dad. I got married at 20. I had a kid at 21. That's why I got grandkids now, and I'm like 37. It's crazy how it happened. but I had to work. I was a disc jockey. I had to go out and do mobile gigs. I did all kinds of crazy stuff to make extra money. Well, you know one thing I messed up at? I was doing morning shows. I was a morning zoo guy way back in the day. I'd go in the morning shows and I'd be the guy that made you laugh all morning long and had a good time. I really liked what I was doing. It didn't really fulfill me as the way I thought it would. I now know that, but didn't know back then. But I needed money. And so I wasn't focused on the morning show. If I lost that job, I was focused on the next job. Who's going to give me a U-Haul truck and take me to the next city and give me another job? And I left one job one time as a Santa Rosa at KREO Radio in Santa Rosa, California, a long time ago. It's a country station now. It was top 40 back then, about 40 years ago, actually, when I did that show. And I left the job after a year, and we had done really, really well. But you know what? It wasn't paying me enough. It wasn't comfortable enough. I got a better job back east, came back to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, came back because my family lives back on the East Coast, left that job. And years later, I'm working part-time on a Saturday night at a radio station in Orlando, Mix 105.1, doing the 70s Saturday night show, if you remember that guy. I got a call from my former boss named Bill. Bill was my boss then, and he was real smart, and he got a job. He ended up down at KISS FM in Los Angeles, the station where Ryan Seacrest is these days. At the time, it was Rick Dees. And Bill got the program director job down there. He sat me down. We were having some lunch one day, and he said, you know what? I was going to call you and hire you to bring you out to KISS FM, but you seem to be drifting. You weren't really focused on just doing the radio thing. You were doing whatever you had to do, and I get it, but I just want to let you know that. And as the years went by, I began to realize that the people who focused on exactly what they wanted, they got it. And sometimes they sat on the beach for a month and took unemployment until they got their job. They focused, they stayed. They took the beating until they got to stay on course to their dream. And I'm telling you that when you have to go out and do something that's not in direct alignment to what you want to be doing, it is a defocus. So listen really closely. I want to make this very clear to you. If you are thinking right now that there is a job, there's something you can do, that if you take it, it will get you there, I want you to stop really, really and just say, okay, let me evaluate this. It will or it won't. I don't want halfway in between. Well, maybe if I do it, maybe it works out. No. It will or it won't. It's either going to take you off. And on the inside of you, something inside of you is going to say, it's not going to do it. Or it will say it's going to do it. Let's take the job. You get what you focus on. And when it comes to working for a living, we all have to work for a living. And it doesn't seem that way anymore, but we do. When it comes to that, the direct path is the right path. The meandering path, no. To the best of your ability, if you can determine if it's going to get you there, take that path. If you don't think it's going to, don't take that path. If you're stuck in between, then do what you got to do and learn the lesson. You'll figure it out later on, but learn the darn lesson because it will slow you down. You will be 25 years down the road and go, what the heck happened to my life? And I can tell you, because I speak to a lot of people, they got out of school, got distracted, did what they had to do, and now they're 42 years old, 45 years old. The kids have left the house, and they're wondering, how did I get here? I hear it every day. I, fortunately, have never been that guy. I never will be. I've always been this guy, so except the beard. The beard's no, that's all. All right, tomorrow, traveling from intention to action. How do you get that done? Because we talk about that all the time. Easier said than done. Some people think intention is everything. It's sort of. Okay. Action is really what it's all about. We'll talk about that tomorrow. If you'd like to join me on Facebook, you just go to dailyboostpodcast.com/Facebook. If you'd like to find out all the stuff I'm doing, and it's growing every single day, just go to motivationtomove.com, all spelled out. You'll find the podcast. We're going to begin to announce more stuff over there. A lot of cool stuff coming up. So get over there so you're involved in what we're doing. I'll see you here tomorrow on the Daily Boost. Bye.